அரசுகளும் ஆட்சியாளர்களும் குழந்தைகளுக்கான அடிப்படை உரிமைகளான வளர்ச்சிக்கான உரிமை, வாழ்வதற்கான உரிமை, பாதுகாப்பான உரிமை, பங்கேற்பதற்கான உரிமை
ការថែទាំកុមារក្នុងគ្រួសារដែលជាសាច់ញាតិពិតជាមានសារៈសំខាន់ខ្ញុំសូមសំណូមពរឲ្យគ្រួសារដែលជាសាច់ញាតិរបស់កុមារជួយថែរក្សាកុមារឲ្យបានល្អ
នៅក្នុងការដែលឲ្យគាត់មានអារម្មណ៍សុវត្ថិភាពក្នុងការចែកចាយនៅអារម្មណ៍របស់គាត់ពីខាងក្នុងមកខាងក្រៅបាន
Igcina ingane ingasakwazi yona ukuthenga izinto ezifunwa yiyona ngoba le mali igcina manje seyenze sengathi manje yiyona esebenzayo angakumbi emahome ngoba phela ngithi ziyakhokha ngayo le mali
អ្វីដែលខ្ញុំគិតថាមានសារៈសំខាន់សម្រាប់រដ្ឋាភិបាលនិងអ្នកពាក់ព័ន្ធដទៃទៀតក្នុងការដោះស្រាយគឺកំណត់ឲ្យមានសេវាកម្មសម្រាប់កុមារពិការនៅក្នុងសហគមន៍របស់ពួកគេ
Government should be at core of the institutionalization, should have initiative and ownership of taking children to families and community.
My message to the governments is that tailor-made, comprehensive support for vulnerable parents, delivered before crisis strikes the family, is best for the child, most effective, and also it costs a lot less than alternative care.
ក្នុងនាមខ្ញុំជាអ្នកថែទាំខ្ញុំសូមជំនុំពរឲ្យរដ្ឋាភិបាលហើយនឹងនឹងចាត់ជំនួយជួយគ្រប់គ្រងនិងលើកកម្ពស់ដល់កុមារជនរងគ្រោះដល់សហគមន៍ឲ្យបានគ្រប់គ្នា
I would like the government and policymakers to understand that family reunification is very important for children like me who lost their family in the Cherbourg, and the only relative that I have is my mom's aunt who lives in Sweden. So family reunification should be less strict, more flexible, and make exceptions in order to make sure that unaccompanied minor can live with their relatives. Politics should consider the human aspect first.
ខណៈអានjatelo Daniel sobe nyithindo dobedo malo mahingo sani.
Principalmente creo que me gustaría crear un proyecto que se enfoque en las niñas principalmente de las áreas rurales.
ប្រសិនបើខ្ញុំអាចផ្ដល់មតិយោបល់ពីការគ្រប់គ្រងការថែទាំតាមបែបគ្រួសារត្រូវបានធ្វើឲ្យប្រសើរឡើងនោះវានឹងជួយធ្វើឲ្យកុមារដែលមានពិការភាពប្រកាសថាសេវាកម្មស្ដារនីតិកាយសម្បទាសម្រាប់កុមារដែលមានពិការភាព
If I am in charge, I will work with the motto to ensure that no children are left without a family, and residential care will be the last option, and obviously for interim period until the child will be reunified with the family or placed in an alternative family-based care.
បច្ចុប្បន្នខ្ញុំត្រូវបានសមាហរណកម្មមករស់នៅក្នុងក្រុមគ្រួសារខ្ញុំសង្ឃឹមថាកុមារទូទាំងពិភពលោកនឹងទទួលបានការរស់នៅជួបជុំគ្រួសារឬសាច់ញាតិ
It doesn't matter how small or big the change is. Small changes bring about big impacts.
Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure for me to be here this morning. Welcome to the second day of the Day of General Discussion on Children's Rights and Alternative Care. Let me start by reviewing with the purpose of this morning session. It is to sum up main points discussed during the first day, especially for those who could not attend the whole session yesterday. But before starting about issues, let me share rules of engagement with you, which are put also in the chat of this session. Our speakers will speak slowly. If too fast, please let us know by sending a comment in the Zoom Q&A. There will be language interpreters and captioners in all sessions. To access this, use the Zoom toolbar at the bottom of the screen and click Interpretation and/or Closed Caption to make your choice of format and language, including English speakers. Sign interpreters will be visible side by side with the speaker. There is International Sign in all plenary sessions and some working groups, and American Sign Language in the other working groups. On safeguarding and etiquette, good practice for the Q&A box: address your questions to the panel as a group. It is not to a specific person. And please ask a question in the box at any time during this webinar. The session is being recorded. Panelists may rename themselves and use an alias instead. Reminder to children: do not put your last name in your Zoom name. Very important. First names or pseudonym only. Please be respectful, and please note that any questions that are abusive, such as questions that personally attack a child or ask for their personal information, will be removed. Do not private message a child or young speaker. If you would like to follow up with the child or young person on a professional basis, please contact IceLink, who can put you in touch with the child or young person supporting organization, and her email is available on in chat message. These were about rules, and now let me introduce our speakers for this morning session, who will participate through video messages due to bad internet connection. Balaram from Nepal, he is a member of YET, working with Voice of Children, and Musa from Tanzania, a member of CAT, working with Railway Children Africa. Balaram has experienced uncertain situations and has lived in care institutions before being reintegrated into his family in 2012. Since then, he has completed several training and leadership programs, both in school and within his local community. He's now a sociology student and hopes to become a social worker in the future. Please show his message. Is there a technical problem? Or maybe yeah. I can introduce Musa as well till the technical problem will be.
That's a great idea.
Yes.
Thank you.
And the second speaker, as I have mentioned, is Musa. He has been advocating for children's rights in Tanzania through various children's platforms that have been established. He is excited to represent children and ensure their voices are heard. Musa's ambition is to become a great fine artist and to teach other people his skills whilst continuing to advocate for children's rights. Please.
Here we are with the sound. Thank you for your patience.
To take the lead on behalf of Nepal, it's my country, and presenting in this important meeting. I'm very happy from the bottom of my heart and felt so lucky. I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to all of you who have supported us in every talks till today. Now, I would like to heartily welcome to everyone for this wonderful UNCRC child and young leader participation online meeting. And one more thing, I would like to say something in this important meeting, which was I came to DGD online internet meetings and I learned so very much, and it is very important for us. So can I say it? So can I show it? Okay, all right. Now I would like to going to starting it. Due to the global manifestations of such problem as violence and sexual exploitations, child protection age, and every each and every important part and response that inspire a wide range of international policies and programming. This affects and these effects generally tend to focus on harm to individuals and groups rather than on violence of their human rights. On one contrast, as took on lens, it is essential to step considering these children and young people to only as victims as they are rights holding individuals whose dignity and physiological integrity must be respected. Uh, Children's rights requires a different approach that respects children and young people and their capacities and involves them as active participations in finding solutions to issues affecting them. However, children's rights to participations continue to be difficult to realize in practice, clarifying the nature and requirements of effective children and young people's participation in international child protections is challenging. Indeed, vulnerability or dependence, understanding and approach to child and young people is common in international child protection practice since it both records and justifies the response of child protections. Children's rights and contrast require the respect and implementation of both protections and participation of children and young people is very much important part and things also. So is this my personal opinion? I was written in my notebook. Thank you so much for listening my little try. I would like to heartily thankful to get me chance DGD and all of you respected people, sir, madam, always my dear friends. So this is my practice. This my practice is maybe very not good, but I will try my best in this meeting. So in this meeting I gain very things and very important things.
Thank you, Balaram. It was really very good, and I encourage you to do that very often. The next video is of Musa, please.
Kuia majadiliano. Habari zenu. Kwa majina naitwa Musa, nawakilisha timu ya ushauri wa watoto na vijana. Napenda kuchukua nafasi hii kuwashukuru wote walioweza kushiriki siku ya kimataifa majadiliano ya pamoja kuhusiana na haki za watoto na malezi mbadala. Ninao furaha kuweza kuwakaribisha wale ambao wamekuwa nasi siku ya kwanza jana na pia ambao hawakuweza kushiriki siku ya kwanza. Pia naishukuru kamati ya Umoja wa Mataifa ya haki za mtoto, waandaaji wa tukio hili. Ni timu ya ushauri na vijana, ni timu ya ushauri na watoto na vijana wenzangu. Mchango wenu na ushiriki wenu hai umefanya siku hii ifanyike. Siku hii ya majadiliano ya pamoja ni siku muhimu sana kuweza kuwajengea watoto na vijana ushiriki mzuri kwa wale walio na uzoefu wa malezi mbadala na ulinzi wa mtoto, ili waweze kupaza sauti zao jinsi wangependa vituo vya malezi mbadala viweze kuboreshwa na kutetea mfumo mzima wa malezi. Asanteni sana wote.
Thank you, Musa, as well. It was very good video as well. We have heard important messages from children, and I thank you both again for this important contribution. We had impressive discussions yesterday. Many of you participated very actively in, and I would like to thank all of you for your excellent inputs. These different views from CRC, state bodies, NGOs, academia, experts, this wide spectrum of experiences which were brought during these discussions, it will make our joint efforts inclusive and at the same time effective. But let me especially thank children, the voices of which was very strong yesterday, as it has to be. They were representing different parts of the world, bringing various perspectives, also sometimes very painful, very horrifying experiences, but sometimes also good examples, how sincere efforts can make world a little bit better for children and their well-being. We have seen children engaging themselves for other children, their well-being and protection of their rights, and this is something admirable. Now let me briefly highlight main topics of 3 working groups from yesterday. The first working group concerned the topic strengthening families and communities to prevent separation with lessons from the pandemic. Amongst issues pointed out in this working group are prevention, early identification, quick intervention, and appropriate measures for effective case management. Need for social services on 3 levels: general, specific, it means individually designed interventions, and specialized services. Good examples are provided from Lithuania, some new programs, mobile groups, as well as centralization of system with specific novelty, what is called as temporary custody in Lithuania. Listening carefully to children and take into consideration in decision-making process is another point what was raised yesterday. Also, state responsibility was underlined regarding allocating budget, professional training, services, but also ensuring appropriate monitoring. Need for empowering parents. There was emphasized that in majority of cases, the separation can be prevented. But services are focused just on reacting too late for prevention. Issue of siblings should be taken into consideration, that we have to keep them together. Issues of disability and education were raised as well. Importance of reintegration was reiterated. Positive examples were provided. Prevented separation in 3 communities through support, counseling, communications, government grants, quick intervention. The result is they successfully reunified with their families, of course, children. I mean. Special attention was paid to COVID-19 situation. It was emphasized that all problems listed above were there, but COVID-19 has shown the weaknesses of the system and worsened situation regarding poverty, access to education, healthcare, and in other different directions. This was the main points of the first first working group, and the second working group discussed an issue of addressing the care needs and rights of children who are separated, unaccompanied, or without care. It was emphasized that the state has the obligation to protect, take care of children mentally and physically. There is a need for more understanding and compassion regarding these children. This group was also raised an issue of the need for enough budget allocation. Children require specific type of support regarding minorities, including ethnic minorities. Each region needs different solution, but it does not exclude sharing experiences to each other. It can be experiences of success or failure for different reasons. Need for resources was identified. Reintegration of children back into appropriate care options was mentioned as well. Prevention was seen as one of key points, and need for a robust campaign that changes public mentality was raised as well. These were the main points for the second group. And the working group 3 focused on access to justice and accountability for children and young people in alternative care, their families and adults who grew up in care. First of all, it should be mentioned that working group 3 participants were witnesses of extremely moving testimonies. Survivors of care have spoken about their experiences to be characterized with keywords: unsafe place, abuse, violence, slavery, no legal status, no possibilities to realize childhood dreams. Following main issues were identified in the framework of the working group. Suggestions were provided how to address challenges, amongst others, for example, registering orphanages, mapping institutions, and a very important point was to end impunity. Child participation was considered as another point. Budget and the question how it is used also reiterated. Importance of lessons learned, in other words, needs to look at the past and ensure that mistakes are not repeated in the future. Need for redress to repair what was in the past was emphasized. To bring reparation and to discuss with victims was highly appreciated. Here again comes state responsibility issue regarding the need of child-friendly settings to give testimonies, give children possibility to express themselves. Good examples were discussed when state party has shown a political will for changes, and the political will was underlined and seen as to be very important. The importance of public involvement was seen, and the need for informing what is happening in institutions and ensure it will not happen again. OPIC is seen as a strong tool, which is not ratified by many state parties, unfortunately. These were main issues raised yesterday. I certainly could not cover all points, but many of them were recapped. To sum up briefly, what all groups show as common understanding is prevention of separation, firstly. Secondly, effective care services. Also state responsibility and child participation. We have heard from children with stolen childhood extreme negative experiences. But this day of general discussion serves to do steps forward to guarantee loving family who really cares for the child and just happy childhood for all of them. Thank you very much and enjoy the second day of DGD. Now we have 10 minutes break. At 9:20, we will meet again. And please join us after the break by following the link for the session you registered for during the registration process. You may do so either directly from the registration platform or by following the link posted in the chat now and choosing the correct session. Thank you once again and enjoy the second day of DGD.